Well, blows my mind away, this Canadian election. Let me get this straight. There was a no confidence vote in Parliament after Mr. Harper, what did he do? Um, was in contempt of Parliament for failure to fully disclose financial details of his anti-crime legislation, corporate tax cuts, and plans to buy 65 American-made stealth fighter jets. So this guy's definitely 65 stealth jet means this guy's going to war. We are not a peaceful nation, apparently, when you're spending a lot of your money on jets. I've personally seen corporations that you do things my way or I'm moving out of the country. So, and these people do not, big corporations are not interested in starting up new jobs. They lay off. I don't know. I find it totally insane that you have no confidence in your government and then you elect them as a majority. And I mean, are Canadians awake? Like, what's really going on? Is this a fixed election, or were we not represented when there was an election and millions of dollars are spent on having another election? I mean, were we well represented then by government, or are we now well represented by government now? We got to see what the hell is going on. Not that any party is even worth voting. If you look at, I mean, the NDP, hell, they threatened to sue me because of the things that I was saying. Out of all of the parties that existed, they were the ones that were suing me to keep my mouth shut about the challenges I was dealing with in my social experience that government's supposed to be responsible for. So, um, who's really the ones that are insane? Nationally, are all Canadians insane? That majority of us want Stephen Harper representing us when only a few weeks ago we had no confidence in him? Like, seriously? Is there something wrong with our systems here? Or are we just so, we have no confidence in our government whatsoever to do anything? That there's a lot of profit in doing what he's doing, the direction that he's doing it in. There's a lot of people making a lot of money to buy that many jets and take over how many other countries' natural resources, which, check our mining industry. Who Canadians, I've read some stories where Canadian corporations have gone into other countries and bought up land and bought up natural resources and created poverty in these countries, created third world countries, and brought all of that money, yes, to Canada, but a lot of these countries don't even pay income tax, and then they get more tax cuts. And if they were making this much money in the first place, because after all, it's the top few that have all of the money, it's nobody at the bottom. If you keep telling them spend your money and you don't have to pay any taxes, it's like they ain't paying taxes in the first place. There's even a documentary, I forget this guy's name, but Bobby G, I think his name was. Go check it out. He's so proud of his ways that um, he made a reality documentary type show out of his business and thinking that bad advertisement is good advertisement to him. And he openly admits that he doesn't pay any income tax, that he goes down to the islands and sets it up and buys up all of the land in Canada with all of the money that he doesn't pay in his income tax. So while you want to hear any of these politicians talk about income tax, they have no full disclosure there whatsoever. And I know that my ex-husband was not paying income tax. I know because I've had children with him. It's in my best interest to know how much money he makes, and I need his income tax. So when the two don't jive, I know what's going on. And you need these because courts demand that you have these records. So I see the game that's going on, even though they want to say that I don't know what's going on because it's all private. No, the end result is I can see what game you guys are playing, and Revenue Canada is not playing a fair game with anybody that's paying any income tax. And our justice system is all designed to protect the criminal, the guy with the most money. Farmers have been losing their farms because the big corporations have been able to take you to court until all of your money is gone, and then they will buy your land because you've gotten yourself mortgaged up. There's been a partnership with big corporations in the banking systems to take over your businesses and merge them with larger ones, to the point where the only place that you can even afford to buy anything is from like Walmart. And all of us are still buying at Walmart because it's the only thing we can afford, because this is what our government system is doing, is outpricing things to the point where it's going to collapse because we're all insane. The Liberal Party, they were in my area. There's more retired people, so that was their platform, is we're going to bring in more medical. Well, hell, half of us are letting our government do this because probably most people are on medication. You're so drugged out. And how many people does that put to work? Billions and billions and billions of dollars are being spent on the pharmaceutical world. And thank God people are starting to wake up to the reality that I've seen is these antidepressants was because there's been depression in my genetics. It's something that I've had to really understand because it was around me all my life, and I didn't like to see the people I love being depressed. And I mean, I've seen my family be on every friggin' drug, and I started noticing a shift in different drugs, that it was almost like illegal to sell one drug, and it was Elavil. Elavil was the first antidepressant, and you can't get that. And I've lived all across Canada, and every single doctor, the only reason that I could get that prescription is because I also deal with muscle problem, and so they would give it for that reason, but not for depression. And it's one of the first, and it's one that works, and it's one that has less side effects. So, and the other ones seem to be so much more dangerous, and all doctors after 5 minutes would want to push this drug on me. And it's almost like my system is totally allergic to it. I go into a total drug. Um, I look like I'm ODing off of these drugs. My body is so freaking backwards. The things I see in our society is so freaking backwards to what everybody else sees, which is what makes it very hard for me to get to work. But the things that I've seen that I have sort of doubted because the universe has been doubting me is now starting to explain why everything has fallen apart. And for example, in our psychiatric world, I'm starting to see some videos, which I'm so happy to start seeing this, that doctors are just getting behaviors. They're observing a behavior that they go to these conferences, and as soon as they all agree, hey, that behavior's in my area too, then they label it as an illness. And most of the illnesses that they're labeling are normal, natural human behavior. That even depression is something that's normal and natural. You are not the one with the medical issue if you are the one that's depressed. It is your social environment. But the people that are doing this, the psychiatrists, usually you get into the field that you're having an issue with. If you've dealt with medical problems in your life, chances are you'll become a doctor. If your family died of something, you'll become a doctor and save people for a living. You tend to go down the path that grabs your attention, your heartstrings, and you try and make a living doing that. So usually people that have medical issues with their head tend to go into that because they study it. Um, that's why psychiatrists usually need a psychiatrist. And so these are crazy, crazy people that are in charge of this pharmaceutical world, that in order for them to gain any respect in the economic system, they had to sell medication. They had to claim that medication was needed for their field for the economic system to take them seriously. So they've been heavily involved in marketing, and they've been heavily involved in actually selling drugs. They're nothing but drug dealers. And they every drug is basically designed to, okay, we're going to get rid of this one behavior, but it'll create a million others that are actually more dysfunctional, more dangerous to your health, but they'll never ever talk about that. And it'll be like that's not a medical issue, other than it's another medical issue that they can sell you another pill for. That's why most retired people are, got 30 pills they've got to take. If I go down to my local retirement independent living center, I'm pretty sure the pharmaceutical world's making at least $500,000 off one center in 1 month. Just off of, one prescription could create so many other different illnesses that they're all just making a fortune off of it. And the Liberal Party thought that they could get voted off saying, we'll get you more doctors selling you more pills. When I seen that the hell I was going in, it's like, no, I want the problem solved. When I went into a psychiatrist or psychologist or a counselor, when I went in, I actually had a problem that I wanted solved. Nobody was interested in solving any real problems. It was all about coping and dealing and how to block and ignore. And it's like, how the hell do you block and ignore, violence that is in your life, or manipulation, or control? I mean, you no longer, when somebody says you really got to work at your credit, that's something I laugh at. It's like, why would I even bother concerning with my credit when so many other people have concern and control over my credit? It don't matter whether I pay all my bills. Somebody can make up any kind of bill. That's what a lot of corporations do, is they sell you some pile of crap. They know that you ain't buying it, or they've trapped you into something, and you can't cancel it unless you can afford a lawyer or go to court to the area that they do business in. And then they sell your account to businesses, corporations that do nothing but collect your debt. There is no product, there is no service, nothing actually got exchanged, but there are these collections. So it's like, we need so much more disclosure, and yet we got a majority government that we all agree is, complete hiding everything and doing everything behind a curtain. We're all happy about that. Let's take a vote. Is this what you vote for? Is this what you want as your representative? Then enjoy the torture we're putting out in every other country, because we are responsible for a hell of a lot of poverty out in the globe. Peace out.